After recently seeing Nevermind the Buzzcocks with Pete and Carl on it, where they did a Johnny Borrell quotes round, thought it would be good to dig into this article I found recently called Johnny Borrell, A Career in Quotes. Right, here we go. So we've got, how many have we got here? Blimey. Got 20 quotes, so let's have a good old look through. I don't know if these are ranked from least crazy to crazy, but we'll start with number one anyway. Another thing about this is like you often hear these quotes from Johnny Borrell, but you don't know how many are true. But so it's good to have them confirmed in this article. Shout out Emily Barker. Also worth noting that this article was written in 2013, so we don't have any quotes after that. But we'd like to think he chilled out a bit since then, maybe, but don't know. Right, let's do number one. I'm the best songwriter of my generation. Ask me in 20 years about the Libertines. Johnny Borrell arrived with a bang in 2004, letting NME know his true worth, and the relative lack of it in former bandmates the Libertines, just as Razorlight Stumble and Fall broke the top 30. I think the Libertines had the fair share of success at that point, though, 2004, so I don't fully get that. And then you see here the context of this article. As debut solo album Borrell won. Did not know that was the name of his solo album. Hits the shops. Here's Johnny and his career in quotes. So let's go to number two. And just in case Dylan wasn't fully appraised of his place in the grand scheme of things, assume this is Bob Dylan. Well, put it this way, compared to the Razorlight album, Dylan is making the chips. I'm drinking the champagne. It's a bit Eric Cantona, that one, isn't it? um, I mean, is he really saying he's a cut above Bob Dylan? Just seems absolutely mental to say that. They're not really in the same ballpark, are they either? Even in terms of like genre of music. I guess they both use guitars, but that's about it. Anyway, let's move on. Number three, sexy. That's not what Johnny Borrell's all about. I don't think it's my job to be minxy. Not sure I've heard that term before, but okay. Doesn't want to be NME sexiest man by the sound of it. Number four, bit of a mad picture there. Not getting sexiest man there, Johnny. Um, Even in those bullish early days, though, Johnny still allowed himself a trace of vulnerability. Sometimes I feel so confident I'm on top of the world 50% of all. Sometimes I feel so confident I'm on top of the world 50% of the time, and the other 50% is just dizzying fits of insecurity, confusion, and traffic in your mind. It's fairly honest of him, to be fair. Must be a common thing for people who like find the band being pretty popular and the flavour of the week in NME. He must have a must be boost to the confidence, but also pretty terrifying at the same time, I guess. Especially as a young person. So fair play, Johnny, for that one. Number five, and computer games were almost his undoing. When I was young, I used to think that I was Maradona. I even lost a girlfriend to one of those computer football management games. It got to the stage where I was lying so I could play them in secret. One night she turned to me and said, if it was porn, I could understand. Then she walked out. Okay. I mean, I didn't have him down as a football manager type, but fair play. I actually have a relevant story to that. I had to go. I was playing. I was playing FM. I was playing Football Manager Mobile so much back in what 2018, I think. That yeah, my girlfriend at the time got quite annoyed with it, and so I was like, oh, I'll go do the big shop at Tesco. The big shop. I'll just go get some shopping from Tesco, and I took my iPad with me, which had the game on, and I ended up playing the Champions League final in Tesco with Altrincham, and I lost the final. Devastating. Won everything else, but I just couldn't get that Champions League win. Anyway, moving on. Number six, following the release and top three successes of Razorlight's debut album Up All Night in summer 2004, Johnny had an intriguing plan. I'm going out to America and I'm not coming back until I'm king. What would unfold? I don't mind that kind of ambition, I don't think. I mean, you're obviously assuming that he's not totally serious when he says these things, but maybe he is. I don't know. Don't know how well Razorlight did in America. I mean, he had this song called America, obviously. But I don't get the impression they were particularly big over there. I don't know. Number seven. By early 2005, promo had taken its toll. It's so hard being on tour, but spending so long without talking to anybody outside the band, you do get quite isolated. I had a lot of baggage I'd built up and I just had to fuck up in order to shed the skin. Okie dokie. Quite a striking image there. Don't know what it means by F up there. I mean, I've already said it now, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. Does it mean getting messed up? Or as in like drinking, etc.? I don't know. Number 8. But there was still time to reminisce about those Libertines days. That sort of scene was a cocaine scene to me, and I'm not a big fan of cocaine. We could have gone down and played the Rhythm Factory and got fucked up with everybody and kissed Pete Doherty's ass and kissed Carlos's ass whenever they walked into the room, which frankly a lot of those bands did. I mean, there's got to be some truth to that, to be fair. He was there before the Libertines kind of went big. I think he was around when Libertines were still unsigned, and there's a story about him not turning up to like this gig where the Libertines were going to get signed and he was going to help out by playing bass. I kind of respect him for doing his own thing at that point instead of trying to like jump on the bandwagon with the Libertines. And it paid off for him, really. Maybe not in the long run, I don't know. I mean, they managed to go down their own path. I imagine some of it was hard to be around with the Libertines in terms of that kind of fandom around them. I don't know. Or like, I can definitely imagine other bands being all over them as well. But yeah, not so bad that one, fair enough. Number 9, if 20,000 children die of poverty every day, and if I'm worrying about my credibility or someone else's perception of my fucking credibility, that would be the height of bullshit. So stop banging on about that white top jeans combo at Live 8. So he was getting hammered for his outfit at Live 8, maybe, is that what they're saying? And Johnny Borrell saying he can't worry about that. Like, why are people worrying about that when this all this poverty going on? I think he was known for the white jeans before that. I can't remember their performance at Live 8 either, to be honest. But fair enough, I guess. Yeah, there's a bigger picture there. But, if you're going out there dressed as a holy figure, then you might get criticised for it. Number 10. Early 2006, big things are about to happen. Number 1 album, number 1 single, but Johnny's worried about the hangers on. People kissing my ass happens frequently and it pisses me off. Yeah, I'm sure people were kissing his ass at that point. But saying a quote like that, you're always going to sound like a bit of a dickhead. He's just been banging on about poverty a minute ago. I think, bigger problems in the world, Johnny. He's probably is one of those people that kind of gravitates towards someone who's slagging him off, probably, or criticising him. And again, it must be an actual thing where, yeah, like the hangers on must be annoying, to be fair. I mean, I was one with the Paddingtons, so I want to talk. Number 11. But he's not doing any ass kissing of his own. Here's his measured take on the Kooks. And that record is the most horrible thing I've ever heard. It sounds like the band are literally rolling over, sticking their ass in the air, and begging Radio 1 to fuck them. Oh, that's a great quote. Hell. If he's on about the first album, I mean, the Kooks are quite divisive, aren't they? Almost as divisive as Razorlight. Although, I say divisive, a lot of people just slate them. But I do like that Kooks first album, but that is a funny way. That's a funny take on it. You've got to assume there's a bit of jealousy in there, though. I think the Kooks probably did as well, if not better than Razorlight. Number 12, a year on, some Carl Barat memories. We were on stage and I stepped past him to get my guitar, and he was pissed and backed into me. When I pushed him out of the way, he came over and said to me, "Don't fucking push me." And I said, "Fuck you, you fucking..." Lots of F words. It's that power as a wordsmith that got him where he is today. Lovely bit of satire from NME there. It's a bit of a weird story to tell, isn't it? No real punchline to it, but fair enough. 13. Things in the Razorlight camp are just perfect. There are some days that I can't even look at them, and others when they do 3 or 4 good things in a row, and it's great. I love them and hate them equally. Wow. Very patronising. But I mean, it got to a point where Razorlight, where all the original members had left, wasn't it? So it was just him and like some people he'd picked to be in the band. I don't know if that was this point. It looks like it might be, judging from this picture. 14. Never give Bono your number. The last time Bono phoned me, it wiped all my old saved text messages out of my phone. It just went, makes Dalek evaporation type noise. Ching, 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 like that. Like a Pac-Man thing. He deleted all my text messages. It was amazing. Maybe he was just using AI got... AI? Maybe he was just using Al Gore's phone or some Secret Service stuff. Bono's quite good at disrupting people's phones, isn't he? With YouTube's album going on everyone's iTunes that time. Ah, lovely little callback. 15. Speaking of rock gods, what would John Lennon think of Razorlight? Are you asking if John Lennon would like Razorlight? Of course he fucking would. Because we're fucking brilliant. Certainly if he was standing at the side of the stage, I wouldn't change a note of the set. A bit of self-belief there, fair enough. It's quite Oasis what he's saying there, and it's like Oasis in the 90s type answer, but I don't mind that, a bit of self-belief. We'll let him have that one. Then 16, there was always a razor-like master plan. When I was a kid dreaming of forming a band, I wasn't dreaming of carrying my own amp up the stairs to go play the Bull and Gate. That's the reality, and everyone can fucking do that. There are very few people who can take it all away, and at that time I was dreaming of playing Wembley Stadium. Again, fair enough. Bit of ambition. Won't fault him too much for that. 17. It was a shared lounge and there were 4 people on the back. He's on about his motorbike here. You could go quite fast. I could almost get into second gear. Said Johnny about the hitherto somewhat implausible tale of him riding a motorbike through then Kirst. Said Johnny about the hitherto somewhat implausible tale of him riding a motorbike through then girlfriend Kirsten Dunst's living room. Wow, that's rock and roll, isn't it? Kirsten Dunst as well, she's a legend. 18. He may hang out with Hollywood stars, but still the libs are never far from his mind. Or interviewers' question sheets. Some people will tell me how bad things are for Pete and Carlos. Like that's going to make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. It's just depressing. It's just sad. We were really close friends a long time ago. The people I knew don't exist anymore. Wow, quite a deep one there. He's come out recently and praised that whole early scene with Libertines, hasn't he? Saying it was a very special time and stuff. And might even see them together at some point playing gigs. I don't know. Be interesting to see. 19. He even had time to consider his 3 biggest mistakes. The first 2 were probably haircuts. I had a James Dean phase when I was 18, and the 1950s quiff didn't really suit me. Okie doke. And last in at 20, now he's a changed man. Out on his own with Borrell 1, there's a chance to look back and take stock. Johnny's sort of remorseful. I'm sure there were times when I was obnoxious, but that's rock and roll, you know? That rock and roll. Whatever Alex Turner said at the Brit Awards. Yeah, so what do you make of that then? Some quite interesting ones in there. Certainly a character of the scene. I mean, NME must have absolutely loved him. I remember Conor McNicholas saying he didn't have anything to do with him because he heard so many stories about him. But he certainly filled a few column inches over the years. And they definitely had some good songs, so fair play to him on that front. Any particular quotes there that stand out? I've not heard quite a few of them before, so it's quite funny to read. I think my favourite one is probably about the Kooks. Quite harsh in a way, but you know, you got to laugh at these things. I think the Kooks are doing rather well for themselves still, so mustn't grumble. But yeah, what do you make of Johnny Borrell? Is he a legend in your eyes or one for the landfill? Have your say in the comments.